My name is Alex, and by society's standards, I had everything: wealth, success, influence, and freedom. I built a successful company from scratch, earning millions along the way. But despite my financial success and extravagant lifestyle, something was always missing. I grew up struggling with acceptance, both from others and within myself, because I was gay. For years, I hid that part of myself, believing it would prevent me from achieving success. When I finally embraced who I was, I felt freer, but the emptiness inside never truly went away. Money filled the gaps temporarily, but deep down, I still felt alone. Then, on an ordinary evening, everything changed dramatically. Driving home from a charity event I'd hosted, I lost control of my car. Everything went dark instantly. There was no pain, just a sense of peace. Suddenly, I was outside my body, floating upward. I saw paramedics working frantically to revive me, yet I felt completely calm, rising toward a warm, inviting light. For the first time, I felt genuine peace. In that peaceful place, I saw someone approaching. His presence was gentle, yet powerful. Instantly, somehow, I knew it was Jesus. I was never religious. Honestly, I dismissed religion for most of my life, assuming that if God existed, he probably wouldn't accept someone like me. But as Jesus came closer, I felt no judgment. Instead, I felt something I'd longed for all my life: genuine acceptance, deep compassion, and an overwhelming sense of being truly loved. Before I could even speak, Jesus smiled warmly and said my name: Alex. I've always known you. In that moment, every fear and insecurity I'd carried since childhood melted away. Tears filled my eyes because, for the first time ever, someone knew every detail of my heart, my struggles, my loneliness, my identity, and still completely embraced me. I asked him carefully, almost afraid of his response: "Do you accept me, even knowing who I've been and how I've lived?" He looked at me with kindness and compassion, saying gently, "Alex, my love was never dependent on your wealth, your successes, or who you've loved. I've always seen you, every struggle, every longing, every hidden fear, and I've always loved you deeply." In that instant, the wealth, accomplishments, and everything else I'd once chased seemed insignificant. The unconditional love I'd searched for in relationships, money, and status was right in front of me. It wasn't earned or conditional. It was simply there, waiting for me all along. I felt a profound sense of relief, like I'd finally arrived home after years of wandering. Standing there, fully known and fully loved, I finally realized what I'd been missing my entire life. Yet, questions filled my mind. I carefully asked him another deeply personal question: "If you truly love me, why did I spend my entire life feeling empty?" He replied calmly and clearly, "Alex, you spent your life pursuing what society told you would satisfy you: wealth, success, approval. But your soul was created for more. True fulfillment doesn't come from achievements, money, or even relationships alone. Your heart longed for something deeper: connection, intimacy, and genuine love that only I can give." His words resonated profoundly within me. For years, I thought money, influence, or even romance would fill that emptiness. But here, in front of Jesus, I finally understood. No earthly achievement could ever fulfill what my heart genuinely needed. Standing there, I felt completely humbled, yet deeply at peace. I asked him gently, "Does that mean my life was wasted, chasing the wrong things?" He gently replied, "No, Alex. Nothing is ever wasted. Everything you experienced taught you compassion, understanding, humility, and a deeper awareness of what truly matters. Your journey prepared your heart for this moment. Now you understand clearly what genuine fulfillment is." In that profound moment, My life's regrets and mistakes no longer felt like failures. They had become valuable lessons, guiding me toward deeper understanding, compassion, and ultimately toward this very encounter. Feeling immense gratitude, I asked him softly, "Why didn't I realize this sooner?" He responded kindly, "Because you had to first understand what couldn't fulfill you. Sometimes you must experience emptiness to recognize true fulfillment when you find it." Standing before him, every confusion and fear vanished. I was completely known, totally accepted, and deeply loved, just as I was. Standing with Jesus, the peace I felt was indescribable. I finally understood clearly what my heart had been longing for my entire life. Not wealth, not status, not fleeting pleasures, but this genuine, unconditional love. Yet, my mind continued to race with questions, especially regarding my identity. Gathering courage, I asked him, "Lord, many people have told me someone like me could never truly be accepted by you. Is that true?" Jesus looked at me with gentle compassion and replied clearly, "Alex, no soul is beyond my love or my acceptance. People often misunderstand my heart, imposing their fears, judgments, or conditions onto me. But my love doesn't change based on human standards or beliefs. I see and embrace every soul exactly as they are." His words touched a part of my soul that had been wounded for years. All the rejection I'd felt from people, especially religious communities, never reflected his true heart. The rejection I'd experienced wasn't from him. It was human misunderstanding and fear. Relieved, yet still curious, I asked sincerely, "If your love truly is unconditional, why have so many people judged or rejected others in your name?" He responded gently, "Because people often use my name to justify their own fears, pride, or misunderstanding. When they judge, they don't represent my heart. My true desire is always healing, compassion, acceptance, and authentic connection, not division or rejection." Listening carefully, I felt a deep relief. The rejection I'd experienced wasn't his intention. He didn't want judgment or condemnation. He wanted genuine intimacy, healing, and acceptance for every heart, including mine. Feeling comforted, I asked another important question. If you're truly loving and accepting, how should people respond when they feel rejected by those who claim to follow you? He answered gently and clearly, "Alex, remind them that human rejection does not reflect my heart or my truth. Encourage them to come directly to me. Bring every wound, every pain, every rejection into my presence. Allow me to heal what others have broken, to replace rejection with genuine acceptance, and to transform their pain into compassion and strength." As he spoke, memories of past rejection flashed through my mind, moments I'd felt unwelcome, judged, or misunderstood. But now, each painful memory carried less weight. In his presence, I understood those rejections never defined my worth. His love did. I then asked sincerely, "Lord, many who've been hurt by religious communities struggle to trust you again. How can they find healing and reconnect spiritually?" Jesus replied kindly, "By understanding clearly that I am not the judgment or rejection they've experienced. Encourage them to approach me openly, honestly, and vulnerably, exactly as they are. I never demand perfection or conformity before offering my love. True healing and spiritual reconnection happen when souls trust my love above human judgments." His words sank deeply into my heart. I finally understood spirituality wasn't about fitting into human expectations. It was simply coming openly and honestly to him, allowing him to heal and transform. With my heart at peace, I gently asked, "What should I do differently if I'm given another chance at life?" Jesus replied clearly, "Live authentically, rooted in the love and acceptance you found here. Don't chase what society claims will fulfill you. Instead, seek deeper connection, humility, compassion, and meaningful relationships. Let your heart reflect my unconditional love in how you treat others, especially those who felt rejected or misunderstood. His guidance gave me clarity. If I returned, I'd no longer waste time chasing empty dreams or approval from others. Instead, I'd dedicate my life to loving genuinely, living compassionately, and reflecting the acceptance he'd shown me. Standing there, I asked him gently, "Does that mean my wealth and success were wrong?" He smiled softly, responding warmly, "No, Alex. Money and success aren't inherently wrong, but without a deeper purpose, they become hollow. Use whatever you have, your resources, your influence, your experiences, to bring healing, compassion, and hope to others. That's true success." I understood immediately. Wealth wasn't the problem. My emptiness came from making it my purpose. My resources were tools, meant to serve others and reflect genuine compassion, not simply to build my own comfort or image. Finally, I asked him, "Lord, will you still love and accept me, even if I struggle, make mistakes, or doubt after this?" Jesus replied compassionately and firmly, "My love isn't based on your perfection. I accept and embrace you exactly as you are, including your struggles, your doubts, and your mistakes. My heart desires intimacy, not performance. Come to me honestly in every moment, and I will always be there to comfort, heal, and guide you." In that moment, every fear I'd carried melted away completely. I'd spent my life trying to earn acceptance, love, and worth, never realizing they were already mine through him. Standing there, fully known, fully loved, and fully accepted, exactly as I was the single, most powerful moment of my entire existence. Standing in the presence of Jesus, I felt more alive, more whole than I ever had in my earthly life. Every doubt, every fear, every insecurity that had followed me for years had faded in the warmth of his unconditional love. Yet, my mind still had questions, things I needed clarity on before leaving this sacred place. I turned to him and asked, "Lord, if everything I worked for, money, success, relationships, wasn't enough to fulfill me, then what is my true purpose?" Jesus looked at me with infinite kindness and replied, "Alex, your purpose was never about what you could achieve, acquire, or prove to others. Your purpose is, and always has been, about love, loving me, loving others, and receiving love fully in return. Everything else fades, but love remains." His words struck me deeply. I had spent my life proving my worth, to my family, to society, to myself. I had thought wealth would give me control, that success would bring me respect, and that love would make me whole. But now, I saw clearly, what my soul had always been longing for wasn't more money, power, or status. It was love. True, deep, unconditional love. Still, a lingering thought weighed on my heart. I asked him softly, "Lord, if I had died without meeting you like this, what would have happened to me?" He didn't answer with condemnation or fear. Instead, he spoke with gentleness and truth. "Alex, I have always been reaching for you. Even when you weren't looking for me, I was there, through moments of kindness, through people who loved you, through the quiet whispers of your heart when you felt something was missing. I was never far." I thought back on my life, the times I had dismissed faith, the moments I had ignored those who tried to tell me about God, the times I felt something deeper calling me, but I had brushed it off. He had been there, all along. Tears welled up in my eyes. "I wish I had known this sooner," I whispered. Jesus smiled and said, "You are here now, and that is what matters." I nodded, accepting his words. There was no regret in his voice, no shame, only love. Another question burned in my heart. Lord, what happens to those who feel rejected by religious communities? People like me, who have been told we don't belong. Jesus' face was full of sorrow as he answered, "My heart breaks for every soul who has been turned away in my name. That was never my desire. Many have misrepresented my love, using religion to judge instead of heal, to divide instead of unite. But I have never rejected you, and I never will." His words lifted a weight off my shoulders I didn't even realize I had been carrying. The rejection I had faced from people was never a reflection of his heart. The love I had longed for had been there all along. I asked him sincerely, "If I return, how do I live differently? How do I find fulfillment in the time I have left?" He replied, "Live with purpose. Love people, not to be seen as good, but because it is what you were created to do. Use what you have, your influence, your resources, your experiences, to lift others up, to bring healing where there is pain, to reflect the love you've received here." It was so simple, yet so profound. My life's purpose wasn't about building an empire, proving my worth, or chasing happiness in temporary things. It was about love, genuine, selfless, and real. Then I asked him, "Lord, if I return, will I struggle again? Will I forget this moment, fall back into old habits, feel lost again?" Jesus looked at me with understanding and answered, "You will still face challenges, you will still have doubts, and you will still be human. But now you know the truth. When you struggle, come to me. When you doubt, seek me. When you feel lost, remember this moment. Remember that my love does not waver, no matter what." I nodded. I knew life wouldn't be perfect when I returned. But now I had something I never had before. True peace, true love, and the knowledge that I was never alone. Looking at him, I felt one last question rising in my heart. Lord, if my life was always meant for love, how do I make sure I don't waste the time I have left? Jesus answered simply, "Give love, receive love, and never let fear stop you from living fully." At that moment, I knew my journey wasn't over. I wasn't meant to stay here, not yet. As I stood in Jesus' presence, I felt a deep sense of peace. For the first time in my life, I truly understood what love meant. It wasn't something I had to earn, something based on my success, or something that could be taken away. It was constant, infinite, and freely given. But I knew this moment wouldn't last forever. A realization settled in. I wasn't meant to stay. I turned to him, my voice softer now, no longer filled with fear. "Jesus, what do I do with this? What do I do if I go back?" His answer was simple, yet it carried the weight of eternity. Live in my love. Let it transform you. Let it shape how you treat others, how you see yourself, how you live your life. I had spent years believing my worth was tied to my wealth, my reputation, or even the relationships I built. But in this moment, none of that mattered. Love was what mattered. Real, selfless, honest love. I took a deep breath, thinking of everything that had led me to this point. The nights of loneliness, the empty successes, the moments I had wondered if there was more to life. Now I knew the answer, and I knew I could never live the same way again. I asked him one last thing. "Lord, will I remember all of this? When I go back, will I still feel this peace, this love?" Jesus smiled, his eyes full of understanding. "You may forget the details, but you will never forget the truth. My love will always be with you. When you seek me, you will find me. When you need strength, I will give it. When you struggle, I will remind you. You are never alone. Tears welled up in my eyes. I didn't want to leave, but I knew I had to. Then, Jesus said something that changed me forever. Alex, your life isn't over. It's just beginning. With those words, everything around me started to shift. The light grew brighter, my body felt lighter, and suddenly, I was back. I gasped for air, waking up in a hospital bed. Machines beeped around me, nurses and doctors rushing in, their eyes wide with shock. "He's back," I heard someone say. "This is a miracle." I blinked, trying to adjust to the harsh hospital lights, but I wasn't the same person who had left. Something inside me had changed forever. The days, weeks, and months after. Recovering from my accident, I couldn't shake what had happened. The peace, the love, the overwhelming presence of Jesus, it was all still fresh in my heart. I knew I had to live differently. At first, I kept the experience to myself. It felt too sacred, too personal. But over time, I started sharing, first with close friends, then with others who were searching, just like I had been. People expected me to return to my old life, chasing wealth and influence. But I couldn't. The things that once felt important, money, validation, status, no longer defined me. Instead, I started using what I had to help others, not out of obligation, but out of love. I reached out to people who felt alone, rejected, or lost. I found ways to support charities, not just by writing checks, but by showing up, being present, and listening. And for the first time in my life, I felt full, not because of what I had, not because of what I achieved, but because I finally understood who I was. I was loved. I always had been. I just hadn't known it. To anyone listening, if you've ever felt like something was missing, if you've ever chased success, love, or validation only to feel empty, if you've ever believed you weren't enough, weren't worthy, or weren't loved, I need you to know something. You are already loved, completely, unconditionally, and without reservation. No matter what you've done, no matter who you are, no matter where you've been, Jesus sees you, He knows you, and He loves you, just as you are. I spent my whole life trying to earn love, never realizing it was there all along. You don't have to make the same mistake. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to change who you are to be accepted. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to be willing to receive the love that's already yours. And when you do, everything changes. And when you do, everything changes.